Good evening, welcome all of you. Today we are having a nice discussion right on higher nature and a lower nature. This topic will be mostly based on nature, higher nature and lower nature. It will be, of course, a brief discussion. Both the nature that is existing here, and we want to have a brief differentiation between these two natures. One is your higher nature, another is your aspect of lower nature. Sri Aurobindo, I want to quote one line, then we'll go for a discussion. What is this nature really? We are having the natures, and Prakriti we have listened, Vishwa Prakriti and all. Here we are having in the lower sphere, we are having the lower nature. Everybody is in possession of, everybody is having some nature. Personality and the nature varies from person to person, from sadhak to sadhak. That already we have known. Here we are going to have a brief differentiation between this higher nature and the lower nature. First of all, I want to quote what Sri Aurobindo really wants to tell about the nature. According to Sri Aurobindo, nature is nothing but the will of God in action. The will of God in action, that is nature. Very interesting definition. Very interesting definition. Nature is nothing but the will of God in action. And while differentiating between the spirit and the nature, Sri Aurobindo marches forward a little bit and clearly, very conveniently, comfortably defines. Nature is a power of the spirit. Nature is nothing but the power of the spirit, rather spirit as power. Spirit as power. I don't want to go there because we will be almost confined to this basic difference, but really want to be differentiated. So many times you have questions. How can we be able to differentiate between the higher nature and this lower nature? And here we are having something we want to describe. Lower nature refers to the negative aspects of the person's nature. Negative aspects of the person's nature that can prevent them from reaching their full potential. Because you have got one mission and you have got visions. When I speak of you, it does not mean that outward or superficial you that you are standing before me. I am speaking about the inmost core where the spiritual, the psychic being is residing. The secret and inhabitant seated well inside you. I am talking of that you. So nature refers to the negative aspects of the aspect of the person's nature that can prevent from reaching their full potential. Because lower nature normally obstructs, derails. What you do? That prevents from reaching the full potential. This lower nature, what I am describing for you, as per Sri Aurobindo, how Sri Aurobindo has described, it can manifest as anger, selfishness, fear, hatred of other, negative thought patterns, closing of one's heart to the world. So these are the things you can find when the negative temperament or negative temperaments are arising inside you. What are these? And what I'll quote it again. Try to remember. Anger, selfishness, fear, hatred of other, negative thought patterns, both not positive, it is coming under the negative thought patterns, and the closing of one's heart to the world, to the entire world. Your thought process is being closed, very limited, very much confined, very much contained. This negative thought patterns and closing of one's heart to the world. Because this world is a big view, but when you have got the lower nature, or somebody is confined to the lower confines of this lower nature, limited confines of the lower nature, he will be simply limited and being closed up from in the heart from the world. And Sri Aurobindo very much interested in describing and telling us unenlightened, not enlightened, and can't be changed by ignoring it. If you ignore it, then end of the road. You can't ignore. You have to take care of. You have to overcome. You have to get an access, and you have to overcome it. That is the requirement. You can't ignore, because this is the unenlightened portion what really we see and find in our naked view. The change this lower nature into the higher nature, sometimes you can later you can find the process of transformation. So to change this lower nature into the higher nature must be brought forward from within, and or brought down from the above. The force has to be descended, or it has to act from within. Two processes. Anyway, the higher force and the higher nature has to brought down into the arena, into this field of this lower nature, so that it can be transformed. Once again, before going to the difference, I want to quote about the lines and the words have been well described in New Testament of Bible. So Bible you have seen you see, and lower nature includes activities. This lower nature includes the activities like sexual immorality, number one. Sexual immorality, impurity of mind. Third, sensuality. Fourth, worship of the false gods. So-called gods, so-called declared gods, so-called encrowned gods you can find. So these are as described in New Testament of Bible. These are all coming on the lower nature, and some more are there. It has been defined and described in this New Testament. Witchcraft, hatred, quarreling, jealousy, bad temper, and rivalry. So these are the things. They are coming on the category of the lower nature, and they must be got rid of. There is no other go. You have to overcome them, and you have to get rid of them. So these are the basic requirements you can find. In many ways you can find some of the similarity you can find, because lower nature is lower nature. That's why Sri Aurobindo quotes, as long as the lower nature is active, the personal effort of the sadhaka remains necessary. This personal effort is required in the initial phase, but difficulty is that we are mad after. Nobody is interested. If some people are coming forward like you, like me, or somebody else there, so what they are doing, they are engaged in this eradicating this lower nature. So as long as the lower nature is active, the personal effort of the sadhak remains necessary. The personal effort will work as long as this lower nature is active in you. And once these are eradicated, they are gone, then you have to concentrate in the spiritual progress. But the difficulty is that, but the danger is that we are almost confined to this lower scale, entire life we are spending in eradicating or running after this lower nature, so that the major function, major work, major activity, what really we were supposed to do, we had to do, that mission is failed. Now itself I want to come to the point, what is the basic difference, what really we find on the way, the basic differences between the lower nature and the higher nature. I will describe around 10 points of differentiation between your lower nature and your higher nature. What are they? In lower nature you can find the animal nature, because we are almost inherited from these animals, From animals we have been evolved up to this so-called man, because we are not full man. So we have been evolved from the animal consciousness. Here Aurobindo describes man a connecting link between the demigod and the beast. From beast it has been inherited up to this man, human level. Long time has been gone, passed off, and from man we have to go towards move towards the God. That is our origin. So a connecting link between the demigod and the beast. From beasthood we have passed understanding at the real position, and maybe I don't know how the time has elapsed, how long it took, maybe centuries, millenniums, births together, I don't know, but at this position we are standing here. And from here we have to, once more we have to evolve upwards, evolve forward towards our Godhead, demigodness. So far this animal nature, about this differentiation, so far this lower nature is concerned, this is only an animal nature. And on the contrary, when you come to the higher nature, it is the true self. In lower nature, first difference you will get, and that is animal nature, and in the higher nature, it is our true self. Second, that is impatient. Somebody is staying inside this lower nature, he is much more impatient. But on contrary, when somebody is found to stay, his condition will be something like he is a patient. Here impatient, that is patient. So difference number 3, we are proceeding forward. Attracted to the worldly things when you are confined to the lower nature. Number 3, attracted to the worldly things. Worldly things like matter, money, bank balance, so and so. Huge family, good house, some income, roti, kapda, makan, and all, well planned life, one good family, wife or husband, some better living style, so and so. Worldly living, worldly things. But so far as higher nature is concerned, things are mobilized and the things are basing on the spiritual things. Spiritual, everything is spiritual. In spiritual, everything is turned towards the divine. And the number 4 is constricted hearts. So far this lower nature is concerned, constricted hearts. But in higher nature you can find a dilated heart, enlarged, elevated. You get dilated heart. Number 5, in lower nature you can find the persons, people who are standing there too much cunning. But in higher nature you can expect some sincerity. From sincerity, there itself you can find the basic difference. Number 7, in lower nature you can find ample of pride, arrogance, pride. But so far this higher nature is concerned, you can find, you can see, you can well realize the humility. So that is the difference. The next difference you can find, in the lower nature you can find some disputation and contest. Disputation and contest is very much seen inside the lower nature. And so far this higher nature is concerned, you can find harmony and teamwork. Harmony and teamwork, to some extent you can find in, while you are working, HR, human resources and all, if you are having, when people are stressing upon that teamwork and harmony is there. And the next one, in lower nature you can find a lot of hypocrisy. But so far this higher nature is concerned, you can find authenticity and integrity. And finally, when you come towards conclusion, the next difference is culture calls the lower nature unnecessary suffering. Unnecessary suffering while you are residing or well contented inside the lower nature. So many ways you will be facing suffering. But so far this higher nature is concerned, we rise above the culture and build spiritual infrastructure in our lives. We rise beyond this culture and try to build the infrastructure, spiritual infrastructure in our life. So at the bottom end, at the top end, you can find, at the end you can find. So what happens? The world needs people with the higher nature people. People with the higher nature, they are needed, they are expected, so that they can lead and lead the world in a very positive direction. And these lower people, they should not be worried because they have to get elevated. They want to get transformed with the touch of this higher force, which has to descend from above, or it has to come out from inside to change all these things. Thank you for now. We can meet in the next class. Dhanyavad.